Morning everyone, hi, Joe here. Today we have Bevlyn as well. So Bevlyn, if you can share with our audience who you are and what do you do?
Hi, I'm Bevlyn. I'm actually a singer. I'm a singing teacher, and I used to be a gig agent as well. So I've been doing this for about 20 to 25 years. That's basically my life. Yeah.
What that made you decide, to pursue this work?
I think from young, I always had a strong interest in music. And the funny thing is, my first love was not singing. My first love was like painting, drawing. But in Singapore, where we had to transit to doing a lot of homework, you cannot be doing homework and painting at the same time. So then I found my interest in music. And that's when I really got so obsessed with music and singing. And I just had a very strong desire. I don't know how or why. It just made me feel like I'm in another world, and I really enjoy the music. And at one point, I thought I really wanted to be a singer, but I think at that time, like 30 or 40 years ago, you don't talk about things like that because you just have to study hard and get good grades and get a good job and hopefully get a high paying job. So I kept it to myself, and I think only when I was like in my early 20s, after I got my first job, I sort of got an opportunity to transit into music. So my degree was actually in psychology. And but all through my life, even in some parts of school compound or after school, I was always singing and singing and singing. And in my uni days, I was like doing song composing and finding my passion with people who are into singing and songwriting. So I think that speaks a lot about what really fueled me in my life. So I think that's why I decided to become a singer when the chance came. Yeah.
Have you actually helped anyone who maybe did not really did singing before and then now they are taking the singing like full time?
I have actually, and it's interesting because this place where you see now is actually my private studio in my house where I teach private students, and I started doing this from home in 2017. And then of course it was a bit slow during the COVID years, yeah. But now my students who were learning from me pre-COVID, they are performing outside part-time.
Oh.
When I first started teaching here, I didn't even think about like, oh, my students may one day become professional. Of course, if you had told me back then, I would be like, wow, that's so cool, like if I can train my students to become professional. But I wasn't even thinking about that. But I realized that because the mastery of skills takes time. So whatever we want to do in life, right? It's very hard to say I want to be a singer, then tomorrow I'm a singer, or next week I'm a singer.
Yeah.
I think the idea is to feel into it, and then you just work towards it lah. So now I have people who are like singing outside part-time, and I thought, wow, that's pretty awesome.
Do you swing by their gig to like?
I do sometimes,
Nice.
yeah.
So for someone who has sort of already found the passion work that you're doing right now, any advice for someone who's feeling stuck or is quite keen to pursue similar fields?
I think the idea is to feel the desire in you, because a lot of times, right, that when there's desire, there's also fear. And if you have a lot of fear, right, thinking about the pros and the cons, and if you're being too practical about life, you're not taking chances lah. Then if you don't take chances, you're not going anywhere. Really, I mean, you think you are going somewhere, but you're just keeping to comfort zone. And if you don't explore outside of what you're comfortable with, you don't really know what other possibilities that can be for you. So I think the whole idea is to feel the desire in you, because if you feel it, it's there, what, right? Yeah. And if you feel the desire in you, you have to convince yourself, because sometimes you're too fearful. You got to convince yourself that there must be a reason why the passion is there, right? The desire is there in the first place. Maybe because I believe in life purposes. I don't believe that my purpose is to be a singer or to be a singing teacher, but I think we can have multiple purposes through life. And if you go from that angle of thought, right, what are we doing here? And I think it's something that is worth looking into, because once you have the desire, you start to think about, oh, what do I really want to do with my life? Instead of just doing what the society think I should do. So I think the idea is to, lean into your desire and to convince yourself that life is worth exploring and not give in to your fears all the time. And I think that's what makes life worth living. Lah.
So if anybody in our audience is quite keen to reach out to you, is there any way they could reach you?
Oh, you can find me at my website, which is singingtechniques.int.com. Yeah, so I also have social media where I transform people singing, that kind of stuff if you're interested.
Thank you so much for your time today, and yeah, we'll see you soon again.
No problem. Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.